that night, we go out for a couple cocktails after work on Route 110. We're in there bullshitting, having a couple. So I go, Sergeant, let me ask you a question. He goes, what's that? I go, that's 600, you know. I said, I felt, you know, a little awkward, you know. What? He goes, if I don't see it, it's yours.
That was the last thing you needed to hear. That was it.
Yeah, that's encouragement.
I'm home.
That's words of encouragement.
I arrived.
Oh, shit.
What he did say as a caveat, he said, but make sure I get some.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That's what he
Of
said.
course.
That's what he said.
Everybody wants
Everybody wants a piece, right? Wow. I don't need a second job now. I don't need to get a raise. I don't need to go for a promotion. The money's in the street.
Yeah.
And remember, people don't know this, but the ghetto's got more money than any place else, okay? There's more cash in that street than there is in Dix Hills, all right? Just straight up. You can't find cash in Dix Hills. Credit cards, baby, but no cash. So for years, I've been the guest on every podcast. You know, starting from Joe Rogan was my first podcast ever.
You did Joe Rogan?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
707. Yeah, and I didn't know who Joe Rogan was. I didn't know what a podcast was. My son calls me up and says, "Dad, apparently Joe Rogan was flying back from Vancouver, probably on a private jet. I don't fucking know. Maybe not. Maybe it was just front seat, whatever you call it." Top class, high class, or shit. I can't afford it. Anyway, he hit the button and up come the documentary to 7.5.
Yeah.
He said, now let me take a look at this. And he loved it. And he landed, sent a tweet out.
Can anybody get Mike Dowd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my son sees it. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know who the fuck. I don't know how to use Twitter. My
I
son,
still don't know how to use Twitter.
my son set it up. He said, this is back in 2014 or 15, whatever.
Oh, wow.
14, yeah. And sure enough, I get a message from him, and my son says, "You got a guy?" I says, "I can't afford to fucking fly to California. I mean, yeah, it's money, and
Sure.
I'm breaking my balls to make ends meet."
And at that point, he didn't have.
I was
also
sucking
didn't
dick
have
on weekends just to pay the bill. I mean, it wasn't
I'm
easy.
still sucking dick
It wasn't easy. It wasn't
at that
easy,
point-
but I got good at it, so I started charging more. But anyway.
But at that point, he didn't have the clout to like bring you out and shit. It was just get here.
He had.
He did. Okay.
He had.
Did he fly you out?
I'm still paying for it. My credit card's still maxed out for that trip. I had to pay for my son because he says, "You're not going on there without me being with you." So now I had to pay for me and my son to fly to California and into his stay 4 days. I wasn't going out there for 1 day, a big shot that I am. So we get into an Airbnb with a bunch of hookers inside the fucking place.
Nice.
Nice. Nothing nice. They were walking around half naked.
all part of the
Nothing nice.
They were disgusting. First we didn't know what was going on because they don't tell you where hook is. Part of the
What was the exact answer?
part of the program. It was actually in. I could get you. It was in. It was Studio City. It was in Studio City.
Yeah.
So so that's where we rented the room and 4 days. And sure enough, these girls are walking around like with their asses hanging out. Like really, like leaving the door open with their snatch hanging out. I'm just like, wait, did I just see snatch? I mean, of course they were,
Sure.
240 pounders instead of 125ers.
It was a certain,
which is my interest. 125 and down, not 125 and up. So
a certain level.
Not if you're paying for it.
What was the experience like with Rogan? I mean, it was just like having a conversation. Like was he good at it?
Listen, I respect Joe, but I'm better than him.
Oh shit!
So
Nice.
fuck them. No. I like you know what I don't like about people. If you say something,
Stand
be
by
it.
it?
Be it.
Okay.
Be it. And Joe's got a good reputation, but he said anytime you want to come back on, let me know. Well, Joe, I sent you 3 messages. That's it. I'm not going to send you 300 messages.
Okay.
The way he messaged me, I messaged him back.
Okay. No response?
No response.
All right.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Hey, move on.
I get it.
Start your own show.
That's why I don't go.
So I did. That's why you're not going to
That's
see
why I'm
Joe.
not going.
Yeah. It sent me back about $4,000. Back then, what year was that? 2014. $4,000 was almost like $4,000.
How long are you out of prison?
Oh, 20 years.
Oh wow.
2004, I came home. So it'll be 21 shortly.
So what are you doing with yourself post all that?
Post Malone? What?
No, post prison. What have you been doing?
Putting on some weight.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I call it the 20 COVID.
Okay, the COVID. Yeah,
COVID put 20 pounds on just about that, and the we can't talk COVID. You get cut off.
You can talk whatever the fuck you want to
Yeah,
talk.
but
say whatever you want.
You get fucking jammed up with the COVID. They
No.
start flagging you and stuff.
No, not anymore. We're good.
Oh, you're allowed to talk
I
it
think
now
so.
because
Yeah,
now that they
Trump's-
proved
Trump's an
that
awful-
most people are dying.
Yeah.
Most people are dying from the shot rather than the fucking
yeah,
virus.
exactly.
Yeah. So Post Malone. What were we talking? Oh.
What were you? What have you been doing with yourself since then? Work wise.
Yeah. So I work really hard at what I do, which is talk shit. No.
Me too.
I got a job. So the experience is like overwhelming. Okay, when I came home, I really wanted to go back to prison.
Really?
Yeah,
So that's not an uncommon thing.
yeah, because I didn't know what to do. Remember, I was a cop, so I did nothing.
The time hop.
I was a cop, so I basically did nothing except show up for work and and respond to whatever they asked me to
And
do.
you figured out other ways.
Yeah, and I added a few. I made a few side moves.
Discretionary funds.
Well, they call it discretion, right?
Discretionary funds.
Yeah. So I
Well,
did
theoretically, you built a business.
that. The racketeering charges came with the.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, you
corrupt organization.
orchestrated an enterprise.
That's what they said.
So what year did you get on the job?
1982.
So,
he was
82.
Born.
And then I wasn't even alive
Good
yet.
year.
I changed my life.
And what made you pick the police department at that point?
I'll use Kenny Urell, the guy who put me. It was a choice between that and the fire department, but they called me first. So there
Right.
you go. And I died on that 9 years on that fire department list. I had a 95.5 score, and they took 95.5 for 5 years. There was so many people that got 95.5. I was like maybe 2 or 3 classes away from getting called, and the list died. That they created a new list, and
Interesting.
and then I got locked up like 8 weeks later. I'm like, damn, I can't go there now.
Both of those jobs, it used to be impossible to get those jobs. You'd be waiting forever.
It was like
to
a
be
family business.
And now it's like, they
Now
can't.
they can't.
They're
get
begging people.
Yeah, they can't even get you to take the damn thing. Well,
I
why
think
would
they
you,
got-
why would
I-
you take it?
I think it's gotten better
Now it's
since,
different.
though. I mean, there was a real lull in paying cops.
Yeah, but it's not so much about the pay. It's really about the working environment for me. Spitting at a guy. If I spit at you, you're gonna punch me in the fucking nose, right? I mean, at least at the minimum,
Sure.
There they got
Yeah.
you get a turban back then.
Yeah, they're disrespected too much.
Yeah, it's just listen, you don't have to like the guy. He's got a job to do. It's there. They're doing their job. Not always the right way, but that's why they have cameras today
Sure.
because of me. They invented
Yeah,
cameras.
well, you should get a cut of that.
That's what I'm saying. I never get what's due me. It's just
You were a pioneer.
I changed the whole damn police department. You think they'd give me like a vig on it?
At least
I added a whole division.
At least like a salary.
I added a whole. I added a whole new bureau. See, they were called Internal Affairs Division.
Right.
Now it's Internal Affairs Bureau.
Interesting.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's like levels.
Levels, yeah.
I added a whole new level to the police department, and you think I get a little kickback?
So how did it start?
Because they're getting kickback somewhere.
Everybody's getting
Yeah, someo's getting something. Yeah.
Everybody's getting
Yeah.
Everybody's getting.
Everybody's
fucking
getting
kickbacks.
paid.
Anybody
Look at
getting any
look,
money
Look
is
at the
getting-
female lieutenant, poor girl.
What happened to her?
She made $200,000 in overtime. Bent over. Did you hear that story?
I didn't hear that
No.
story.
You didn't hear the story?
No.
What if?
Try to not pay attention.
Yeah, me too.
We just talk to each other.
No wonder.
Living in a bubble.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
the female lieutenant was getting banged in the ass by the chief.
I didn't know that. And that's why she was getting overtime because she was always spending extra time with him.
Yeah, well, he just
Did they get in trouble? Both of them?
Yeah. They're
Like-
working it out though. They're working it out. You're a chief, so they're gonna work it out for you. And she was taking the chief, so they're gonna work it out for her. But they were all over the front page of one of the newspapers, which I don't read them really because I'm usually on the cover of one of them.
How did you get into such an enterprising business?
Yeah, how did it start? Like, you know what I mean?
How did what start?
The
job?
The racketeering.
extracurricular fucking, you know what I mean? Like you're a cop, you become a cop, you need a job.
Yeah.
How did the game begin to play out?
I would say it was rooted in greed.
Okay.
You know, everybody has a little bit of greed and larceny in them. You know, if you can take the pen, it's a good one. You know, you know, it starts like that. And then the reality was there came a point where there was no guardrails in place. And you made a lot of independent decisions on your own. And I felt that doing the right thing was getting me more in trouble than doing nothing or the wrong thing. So if I'm going to do nothing, I'm going to be looked at by the public as a scourge because you didn't do anything. Officers, they're selling crap right in front of the place, right? But if I make an arrest, I'm going to lose my assignment. Not because I made an arrest, but because I've done nothing. Because I just took one guy off the street and the 600 taken his place, and I loaded up the court system. So it's a process of negative reinforcement. Remember this, it's the only job in the world that the minute you get the job, they're looking to take it from you.
Interesting.
Right.
It's not like a mechanic. He goes to work, they're looking to get him to become head mechanic, right? When you go to work as a cop, they're looking to write you up, screw you over, find a reason, because you are a part of a political system.
Yeah.
You become a political target whether you know it or not. And you're young guys. You don't know it. You think you're going to save the world. You know.
Right.
In the meantime, they're looking at you askance. Your co-workers are afraid for their careers and jobs the whole time. It's built-in system of negativity because it's the only job in the world where you go to make an arrest where you can be arrested.
Right, you judge for the rest of your life for one thing you do wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how many? You know, we see the incidents, you know, all bullshit, all over the news, you know, all race baited and all that shit. We see that everywhere because it changes people's lives. So, for example, I can make money by creating a hysteria over this individual who had a bad experience with the cop. Whether the cop was right or wrong don't matter. So you're on the verge of losing your job and technically getting arrested. Everything you do. So it's really a difficult balance if you think about it.
Well, you're held to a different, you're held accountable differently than your average citizen.
Because you're taking so much freedom away, and I understand the magnitude of that. But at the same time, you can lose yours. So it's really, it's a heavy weight, but you don't really think about that until it falls on you, you know? Like we had one of my first experiences like that was a young cop came in with me, started with me, ended up in the 7-5. And he's out in front of the precinct. There's a guy with a gun, the whole bullshit, you know. And the kid's trying to do the right thing. And someone says, he's got a gun. So the cop draws and tells him, drop the gun. The kid didn't have a gun. But the other kid said he did. So the cop, if you see the police guns, they don't have a hammer on the trigger. Because the cop cocked his gun, and he went like this, and he hit the roof of the patrol car that he was hiding behind. And all you need is 4 pounds of pressure on the trigger. Hit the kid in the heart, killed him. I mean, you can't even aim and hit the kid in the heart. Yeah. This guy hit the kid in the heart by accident. Kid dies. Of course, he was a black child from the neighborhood, whatever. I don't know how old he was. White cop, big racial incident. And the unfortunate thing, not only did the cop lose his job, he got arrested. You know, I mean, and he basically was responding the best way he knew how at the time to save himself and a civilian in the street.
And in a numbers game, shit like that's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
I mean, it's a fucking city of 9 million
I mean, listen,
people.
it's less than 1%. I think it's less than 0.1%.
Sure, but it's gonna happen.
No, it's gonna happen.
It's inevitable.
Yeah, there's gonna be accidents. There's gonna be accidents.
But the way the politics play it is that like a mistake gets turned into poor mismanagement, this, that, and third, because the police chief is a Democrat or he's a Republican, and they want to get the other guy
Al
out.
Sharpton's got his march on the precinct.
None of that, though, can be misconstrued, though, with an accident versus what actually occurred with your story. Your story is insane.
Yeah, no, but
it's a footing of to why you begin to make these decisions. You understand?
Sure,
what
I can see
I
that.
get what you're saying.
I can see getting to the place where being like, this game is fucked up.
Yeah,
this is not what I thought it was.
Not like you thought.
There's a turning point.
I'm not here to save anybody but my own skin now. That's what I start to see. Never mind. Yes, that's always the number one game.
What was the first taste of action? What was the first?
You guys are trying to get me into the soup. Yeah. Well, you gotta, it's a process though, because there's times where
was it free donuts and coffee? Was that like
with the coffee? No, really, what it was I learned. There's a little lossy to everybody. Let's be honest.
listen.
Right? And you know, and you see things. You're like, should I not? And then you don't, right? But you're like, damn, I could have. Yeah.
I grew up in the recycling business. We're still in
Oh,
it.
so you're still stealing shit. But anyway, my point. You're not. What's his name? Gershaw. You're not with Gershaw.
We know that.
Of course you do. If you don't know them, you can't be in the business. So anyway, yeah, but it's a dance. So because you see stuff and then you don't. So I'll give you an example. So one of my first jobs as a rookie, not a real cop yet, a rookie, and I'm sorry. This will start, Uber Eats sending me messages like I'm hungry.
That's the real mafia.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
You ain't fucking kidding.
They'll clean.
That should be the first clip of the show.
They should be in to clink. So it started out with things like this. I would go to a call, unsuspecting, just like an aggressive young cop looking for what's happening, trying to learn what's going on. And all of a sudden, no one's arrested, but the drugs are gone. And,
This is the crack epidemic too,
no,
right?
just before it.
Okay.
Just like this is like months before it.
Okay.
And I'm like, geez, because I was working in Corona, Queens at the time, and that was really the cocaine capital of America, because the two airports,
Right.
LaGuardia and Kennedy, they were fucking flying like that. All the airlines were delivering it. Okay?
Yeah, back then.
That's how it was coming in, and it's clear. I mean, the stewardesses, the pilots, everybody was fucking yo. Anyway,
We're gonna get there on time. I promise.
Yes,
We're gonna get there ahead of
early.
time.
So, yeah. So
If I gotta run there myself.
So Queens was a hotbed, and we're awakened to the fact that when we first get trained there, that they tell us this. So now I'm looking for cocaine. Like, I don't know nothing about cocaine. I never tried it, didn't want to try it, was scared of it. And then we come across a couple of jobs, and all of a sudden the cocaine's missing, and no one's getting arrested. I'm not saying tons or anything, like packages,
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell you if there was ounces or kilos, but it wasn't a large amount, put it that way. I know what kilos become later on, but at the time I was young, I didn't know what it was. Looked at white powder in a bag. It's not mine. Like they're in a game room, right? That's how game rooms were used as a filtering place to pick up cocaine. So you would go in a game room, and there'd be cocaine sitting there, and the guys saying, I'm playing the fucking asteroids, whatever they play.
Sure.
Defenders, all that shit.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, the cocaine's gone, and no one's getting arrested. And I didn't hear them say, I'll be back at the precinct vouchering this. I mean,
Yeah, it just was like
it was eaten. Someone was eating it. So witnessing that, I began to see that, there's a lot of latitude, a lot of freedom, a lot of discretion here. And I never told this story, so I'm going to tell it here for the first time. When I was a young child, like in my 8, 9, 10 years old, my neighbor was a cop, a detective in the 105 precinct. And in his house, he had heroin. I remember him having heroin in his house. And he was showing us what it was as a lesson.
Wow.
This is this is that, whatever.
And this is how you inject it.
Yeah, well, he wasn't... Thankfully,
But he just had it just like to...
I don't know why he would have had it in his house, but he had it in his house because back then maybe they held the evidence. I don't know.
Kept his wife drugged up.
Yeah, I mean this is back in the year. I was born in '61, so now it's '69, the hippie era.
Yeah.
And so I remember there were red envelopes too, little tiny red things. Anyway, so interesting. Just a first on your show.
There we go.
I've shared this. So I was aware.
Been down this road.
I was
before.
aware that the cops somehow could bring drugs home, and I didn't know why. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't know enough. But as I become a cop, I'm like, well, that's how it gets home. You just take it. Meanwhile, there's a vouchering process, but it doesn't really matter because you don't follow the book.
Because there was no computers.
You don't.
back then.
There's no computers. There's no cameras, and you don't follow the book in the street. You just do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
You do the right thing. Maybe you take it and throw it out. Maybe you take it and put it in your closet, like my neighbor. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that was playing through my head as this was going on.
It's almost too easy.
Yeah, it's just there. It's yours. They don't want it. Because
wild.
you can't claim it.
Can't let the bad guys have it.
Well, they don't want it.
Yeah.
Is that a mosquito? Because
No,
this
it's a
isn't
fly.
going to work. I leave with mosquitoes.
It show's over.
This is it.
No, it's
So-
a regular fly.
Yeah. So so anyway, so eventually I come across.
It's an undercover
Dying
cop.
to get to this. Eventually, I come across. I'm on a I'm doing patrol with a guy from Central Islip, Donnie Williams. Donnie Williams? I think Donnie. Donnie? I think his last name was Williams. And he was in Central Islip. He was the fire department chief for Central Islip. Nice guy. And we get a call for a robbery on 660 Hegeman. It's an active location. It's always active, 660 Hegeman. It's part of the whole story. And we get a call, robbery in progress. So that's a hard response. You got to respond. Robbery in progress comes over, and we end up going inside, and they're trying to close the door. So we bust the door open.
Okay.
And, no warrants. You just bust the door open, because they were closing the door as we were coming up there. And the guy said, they're in there. So we knocked on the door, they opened it, and they tried to close it because they saw it was us. They thought someone was looking to buy drugs, but it was the police. You didn't look through the peepholes, dude.
Right,
you need the radio going, whatever. So they opened the door. Now they go to slam and close. Of course, we push our way in. And there's this, I walk in, I look to my right, and there's a blender and like bricks of cocaine sitting on a table. And I guess the cut was there too, And to my left of so the table was, let's say where your table is, and I came in and I saw it there, and to the back side of the table was an eggshell carton where we would put like 50 dozen eggs in a container, and it was like filled to the top with $50 tins. Back then they made tins. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but they would take tin foil and roll $50 worth of cocaine in it and sell $50 pieces.
Oh, I thought it was some sort of money I never heard about.
No. A $50 tin would be a rolled up piece of cocaine in a $50 aluminum foil. And it was filled to the top. This fucking thing. So in comes the whole gang squad, looking to make big arrests and whatever and whatnot. And so it's my arrest because it's my scene. Guys are jumping out the window. I mean, it's mayhem. It's mayhem.
A lot of people in there?
Going on. I don't know. They're all jumping out the window. So one guy, we see they pull the air conditioner out of the window and they're jumping out the window.
Holy shit.
So I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, run, whatever. One guy's there. It's good enough,
Yeah, that's good.
And so in comes a sergeant, street crime. They're plain clothes. They heard the call come over. I asked for a sergeant to respond because there's drugs and shit on the scene. And in comes the street crime sergeant. Street crime is a unit that's independent of the precinct. Street crime is basically borough-wide. They respond to shit.
Like an ESU or something like that.
Yeah, but in plain clothes, yeah.
Right.
And like ICE.
Yeah.
Just show up. And,
They're good guys.
They drag people out. So anyway, he said, well, we're going to take the collar. There's a lot of drugs here. What do you mean we're going to take? This is my cop. I mean, this is big, a young cop.
Yeah, New Jack.
Yeah, New Jack, one of my first arrests. I mean, I made a couple bullshit arrests, but this is a real one.
That's all right.
This is a good one. Robbery, you got all kinds of drugs, you got guns.
At this point, you're still trying to do the right thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he goes, we're taking this collar. So sorry, Junior. But, we'll put you in for, recommendation.
Is that not the worst, the most demoralizing thing is when someone's like, sorry, kid.
Yeah, sorry, kid.
And you're like, well, what do you mean?
You know how I feel. So I reach into this fucking, right in front of everybody. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know what made me do it. I just reached in and I stuffed both my pockets with cocaine. And
We've all been there, right, guys?
Yeah, just like that.
And
Was it that moment?
Nobody said anything?
No one said anything.
Wow.
That's almost like a monkey brain, like
Fuck this shit. I gotta get something.
Yeah, like
out of it.
something.
something out
you
of
know
it.
what, if I can't have it, nobody can.
Like something went off in your head. Like now I see what's happening here.
Yeah, like I'm pissed.
I don't even think it's that deep so much. It's almost like,
And
you're
they
going to
didn't-
take it
nobody
from me,
said a
I'll take
thing?
it back.
No one said a thing.
That's wild.
I mean, he's a sergeant on the scene. Maybe he didn't see me do it. I don't know, but I didn't hide it. I just went like this and like this,
because
right in front of the cop, and put them in my pocket. Now I don't know who the sergeant is. Okay.
Wow.
Because he's got a badge that says sergeant on it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
it's
could be you.
worth it.
Could be you. Could be you. I don't know.
30,000 city cops?
Yeah, whatever. I don't know him.
Right.
So I'm fucking pissed. So I put the coke in my pocket. Now what am I gonna do with it? I don't use it. So what am I gonna do with it? So I bring it home and I gave it to some people. I didn't get any money for it, but it was just
Not yet.
not. But it was the opening salvo of me saying, I can fucking do what I want.
Yeah. The door opened.
I can do whatever I want, really. It's just up to me to decide on how I want to do this.
This is a tale as old as time. And then it builds. And
Yeah,
then it builds.
yeah, and then
your expenses build
Yeah,
with it.
oh, forget that.
It's human nature.
3 homes, 4 homes, condos. It just gets crazy.
You get to keep any of that afterwards?
No,
All right, we got to move
I
in.
actually kept. No, I came home with nothing.
Yeah, but you got to think though, right? Like you're a young cop in that situation. Like that shit must have been going on everywhere.
Well, of course it was, because if the guy didn't say anything,
Exactly.
that you already know that he
who-
probably
who-
took the rest.
Who knows what he did?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Exactly.
I
If he
didn't-
wasn't paying attention to that.
Yeah, right. He didn't say
Yeah.
a fucking word to me.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, they ripped up the floorboards and came up with more drugs and cash.
Yeah.
Bastards. I knew I
Should have hung out.
should have hung out instead of
No, but it's the truth, and especially in the times when there's no computers. Like we're in the pallet business, wooden pallets, and
Yeah.
like, back when, before things were tracked, the guy in the back of the store, yeah, the boss doesn't care what we do with him. Just bring us something for pizza for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And
$5
then
a piece. $5 a
but
piece.
then it's a 1 million square foot distribution center in New Jersey, and it's 30 trailer loads a week.
Pallets. Oh, my.
It's a lot of fucking pizza.
A lot of pallets. a lot of wood.
Yeah.
Well, you also, too, it's like-
just human nature.
You also
human
too,
nature.
it's like everything like goes to computers, and you think back like our age, like it's like, oh, it's easy. You should put a computer in, and like our fathers and our grandfathers would be like, no, we don't need the fucking computer.
I'm not
But
gonna do
that's
it
the
this
reason
shit.
why. Like we don't need to track it.
But
Don't worry about it.
now, if you're in the big leagues, if you're like the big, like the corporate American, they just buy fucking condos in Belize, and they send their guys over there, and the hookers don't weigh 180 pounds. You know what I mean? Like it's everybody's wheeling and dealing. It's human nature.
Yeah, it is human nature.
But I guess in your case, it went too far.
Slightly. Well, you know what it was? I tell you why it went too far. It went too far because it was getting hot.
Yeah.
It was getting hot. So I had to change up. So rather than do street level shit, I had to step up.
Yeah.
You know how it is. You got to step it up. You can't keep taking those little wooden pallets. You got to take truckloads of wooden pallets. I don't know. You mentioned the pallets.
He's running with
I
that.
know a guy who...
He's running with that.
What am
one.
I
get myself in trouble.
One of my tenants was cleaning pallets. Maybe he worked for you.
It's a thing.
Is
It's
it
a
Anthony?
thing.
Is Anthony your family?
Anthony who? There's a lot of
They're all
Anthonys.
named Anthony.
There are everybody.
Anthony
There's a lot of
is
The guy with the
Anthonys
bad
out there.
foot.
Anthony with the bad
yeah.
foot?
There's
There's
two of
probably
them.
a dozen of them.
He's got his toes cut off.
Anthony Anzalone.
I forget his last name. He lives in my house.
Funny.
Probably he does pallets. So how many of you guys do pallets on Long Island?
I know a couple.
Although Anthony and Tony and Jimmy and Vinny.
No, Vinny wasn't there.
Oh, fuck.
Anyway, yeah. So that's really what sort of let me know that I could make moves. And then it came down one day too. It was a homicide scene, and
You stole a dead body?
it could have, but no,
Hook me
could
up.
have happened. But the parts are. If
Yeah,
you keep
there's
the parts going.
There's a show on HBO right now called The Mortician.
The parts.
It's a bad look for the entire industry.
Yeah, it's crazy. The Undertakers.
I own a funeral home. Yeah,
You know them?
I
He
do.
owns a funeral home.
That's what I'm saying. I had a feeling there was something going on here.
Yeah. I
Those
just don't
parts-
rant and rave about dead people.
Those
It's fun.
parts.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, boy, better check.
breaking my heart.
Make sure Grandma's really in the ground.
Yeah, I'm too soft.
Pallets and dead people.
I'm too soft
Yeah.
for
I
prison.
run him through the saws. He
yeah. Oh man, you guys. I'm wondering.
It gives a whole
Why you
new,
felt so at
Is
home?
this door locked?
there's a whole new definition to bone china.
You knew you felt comfortable when you said that.
Let me get my back to the door over here. So, yeah. So I think there was at that point in my career, I got a lot of latitude here. And then when I see this kid get murdered, I didn't see the murder. I showed up.
Right, the
I showed
aftermath.
up. The blood was there, and his head had holes in it.
We've all been there.
Yeah. And I said, he's dead for a reason. And sure enough, it was marijuana and money.
Out of all the things that get
And
cursed.
yeah, right, tray bags. So something's not adding up. Turns out his best friend killed him, his partner.
No,
Okay, so but we figured that out quick enough, and but in that scene there was a lot of So I don't know exactly how much cash was there, but I put 6 $100 bills because there was that's nothing. That's a tiny nothing. So I put it in my pocket. And there's mounds of marijuana. There's 20s and 10s and fucking piles of cash. It's a trade bag. It's a three. There's lots of singles. I want singles.
$600.
Yeah. So I put it in my pocket.
Food for the week.
In the week. Back then, it's a fucking month's salary.
Yeah.
So I take the 600, put it in my pocket, and then comes the sergeant, and I liked him, Sergeant Otto from Brentwood. Jimmy Otto, how you doing, buddy? And he's part of the story. So he says to me, "Is there anything else? This is it?" And I ate the fucking bird, the cat. I went, "What?"
Actually,
It was actually 6. I didn't want it to get full of blood. I don't know what I did. It's just being safeguarding it. I'm safeguarding the 600.
Okay.
The hundreds, the singles didn't matter. Stacked it. But the 600. So he looks at me like he shakes his fucking head, right? He goes, "Is that it?" I go, "That's it, so I swear. I'm sorry."
he took this 5, put it in his pocket, gave you 100 back.
So, who knows? So that night we go out for a couple cocktails after work on Route 110. I forget the name of the place up in the north end.
Gossip.
Very far up on the top of Route 110. As soon as just before you get into Huntington Town,
Saldies.
it's on the right hand side, heading north. Anyway, I forget right around after you pass the Northern State Parkway.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It was years ago. If you said the name, I'd know it. But anyway, we're in there bullshitting, having a couple, and so I go, "Sergeant, let me ask you a question." He goes, "What's that?" I go, "That's 600, He says, I said, "I felt, a little awkward, What? He goes, "If I don't see it, it's yours."
Interesting. That was the last thing you needed to hear. That was it.
Yeah, that's encouragement.
I'm home.
That's words of
I've
encouragement.
arrived.
Oh shit. So what are you saying, that like he didn't want you to tell him there was more, or
No, see no
I don't
evil.
see
He
it,
no
Don't
it's
ask,
evil.
don't tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
he was
don't
hoping
tell.
there was more?
He probably
So
paid
what
for
he
all the
did
drinks
say,
that
what
night.
he did say as a caveat, he said, "But make sure I get some."
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That's what he
of
said.
course.
That's what he said.
Everybody wants to
Everybody
taste.
wants a piece, right? Wow. So I'm like,
That was it.
I got a fucking.
That's it.
I'm good. I don't need a second job now. I don't need to get a raise. I don't need to go for a promotion. The money's in the street.
Yeah.
And remember, people don't know this, but the ghetto's got more money than any place else. Okay, there's more cash in that street than there is in Dix Hills. All right, just straight up. You can't find cash in Dix Hills. Credit cards, maybe, but no cash. Anyway, maybe a few Jewish, gold dealers, whatever.
Must have listened to the last episode, huh?
A few Jewish gold miners, but anyway, So that's the story. So that's really what kicked it off in my brain.
Yeah.
It didn't. I didn't get active really right away, but my brain was now open to the idea.
This is possible.
Yeah. If something comes up, it's there.
If I see an opportunity, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Who's gonna
Not
see
a
it? The
big
guy's
deal.
dead.
Yeah.
And his mother and father, they're in another world. If they're even not incarcerated.
Yeah.
In this case.
Now, how soon was that since you'd gotten on the job?
I was on the job 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah, so around the 2 year mark, I was, ready. Yeah. Ready to seize an opportunity, but not to become a real criminal.
Not to mastermind.
Not to be a
anything.
real
No,
criminal.
but I mean,
and
that
become
makes a lot of
racketeer.
sense, though, because it's like when you think about it, like in a small scale, like on that particular one, like who's really getting hurt?
Well, guy's dead. He's a marijuana dealer. His mother's not really looking for the money.
Who's getting hurt?
Yeah.
Nobody's getting hurt.
Taxation without representation.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Two for 2/3.
Yeah.
What?
One for you, two for me,
Yes,
two for
yeah.
me, one for you.
But then you're enterprising and you see the path forward.
Now I don't have to go back to school.
Yeah.
Look at you over there. Look at your eyes lighting up. He wants to go back on the job with me.
I like the action too. You know what I mean?
So I send this guy free pallets. They don't even say
But
thank
do you want to pay for it? Do you want to pay the price at the
Well,
end?
it depends on what we're talking. You
Yeah,
know?
is the
14
is
years, you
is
want it?
Is the juice worth the squeeze, right?
Yeah.
The age-old question.
No.
I met guys in the joint, and the feds, they're corrupt, and they go to him. Well, if you drop 8 million, we'll give you no sentence.
You
Like
could have beat it.
What do you mean if you dropped it?
If you gave us $8 million, we'll let this whole case disappear. Like
wow.
guys that I've seen come through the system.
But like, and that on a federal level that happens.
Yeah, because really what they want is they want forfeitures.
Well, everything's a deal. Everywhere.
Yeah, well, that would be an above board deal.
Oh,
It wouldn't be like on the side deal.
Right,
It'd be like
Because the people who are responsible for you at the end of the day, that's a factor, right?
right. Of course it is.
I mean,
Yeah.
all the shit that you did, there were people that were responsible for you. So at the end
how
of the
accurate
day,
is that documentary, Mike? How accurate?
Fairly accurate.
Really?
Fairly accurate. Yeah.
You're a
the only-
fucking wild man back in the day.
Well, the only thing that wasn't accurate, and it's debatable, but from my perspective, was the kidnapping thing at the end. That's all bullshit. Okay, because they set the whole thing in motion.
Well, what about all the alleged murder charges that happened with you too?
The alleged ones,
Yeah.
what the 9 murders?
not the ones, not the people
Yeah, I
you
mean, it
didn't
seemed
kill.
like
The
people
9?
came out, drug dealers came out of the woodwork to get themselves out of
Yeah,
trouble.
that's what they were
and
doing.
Testifying against you.
That's
And
what
like,
they were-
listen, you copped to what you copped to, right? So
yeah.
why would you? I mean, I understand why somebody would leave that out, but it just didn't seem like
You can't cop
it
to
fit.
You can't.
It didn't seem like
you
it
can't
fit.
take a plea. If they know anything like that, they'll never take your plea. They'll just keep charging you. You'll once the feds get you, if you don't admit to everything you did, they'll come back again.
Now, what does that do to your psyche to have to swallow that pill?
Which one?
Like have to admit to it and say, like, yeah, I did this.
It's freeing.
After being,
It's
it wasn't.
freeing. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I'm sure playing
Because
that
now
game.
it's over.
Yeah, I'm sure playing
The
that game.
closet's empty.
Well,
I'm
that's
sure
what,
playing that game for the amount of time you did, I'm sure you got to a place where like running and hiding. Was fucking-
Yeah.
You probably wanted to kill
Stop
yourself.
me.
well, that's what like
Yeah.
that's what we talk about like.
Never.
Okay.
Never wanted to kill myself.
So from
No, it's not an
84
option.
No, but
If
that's
you
like
find that out, it didn't happen.
But that's like what we talk about with like the whole
Hillary
Diddy
Clinton.
situation and all these situations, the life that these people have to build to just keep the lie going.
Cover it up.
It's
an addiction.
like-
It's if 5 is good, but 50 is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so for me, my personal experience, I only speak about that.
Sure.
Right.
Fuck you. Anyway, for me, it was the most freeing moment
I could see that.
of my life when they arrested me.
Because it's over.
You don't got to keep up with it.
I was like this every day.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
My body would freeze on the way to work.
I'm sure.
My head would go numb from here to my foot. And so I'd start driving like this. 90, but over in the right-hand lane now. In case I crashed,
Yeah.
I wouldn't kill anybody. Like
Right.
I'd go off that way.
And they
or-
said you were a bad guy.
Yeah. or I'd take it so I could get off an exit ramp if I had to go right to a. I'd remember what exit ramps were closest to the hospital.
That's anxiety too.
Well,
That's
that's
what
what
that
I was
is.
living. You know, you're living like you live in the double, triple, quadruple. You know, you're a cop, you're a husband, you're a cheater, you're a father, you're an asshole. I mean,
You
it's-
had get what? So from 8, you got on 82, starts 84.
Yeah.
What year did you get pinched?
92.
Holy fuck, that long.
Long time.
Yeah, 8 years of fucking internal turmoil. You know, what you do to yourself. So
How much money do you think you made?
I didn't make enough. I didn't make enough. Yeah, maybe $500,000.
Really? That's it?
Yeah, but $500,000 back then is like,
Well, it's like
5
$5 million
now.
today.
That's
But,
the
yeah.
magic number, dude.
But you know, you got to
Don't
look
seem
at it.
so bad
It
all of a
was,
sudden.
It was
Jeff.
like a cash cow. I didn't need to make. It was there.
And you would making, spending, living
I lived.
high. Yeah,
I lived
you
nice.
lived high and
I
high.
lived nice. I traveled a lot. You know, for first cop. You know,
Right,
I mean, 4 homes, a condo on the ocean. Things. You know, I had a nice life. You know?
Where'd you grow up?
Brentwood.
Okay. And you're still out on the island?
Right over there.
Yeah, literally. You still on the island?
Am I still? Yes, but actually, I'm in Clearwater a lot now. I have a condo there, and so I spend a lot of time down there. You know, winter season and stuff. And when it's 100, I go down there. It's cooler. It's cooler down there. For God's
It's
sake.
100. When I walked in here, my dashboard said 104
Did you
degrees.
the documentary? Did they have to like? Did they pay you? Did you have to like sign a deal and like we're gonna tell your story? And I'm sure, right?
Well, I really can't talk about this. No, the reality is this: you really can't be paid and have something be called a documentary because
so
that's
it's like-
acting.
Got it.
Makes sense.
Right? What do you want me to say? How much you paying me? I'll say it.
And because it's public record, they can talk about your story.
Yes, they could have done it without me.
Got it.
Yeah. In fact, they tried to. It wasn't going to be the 7.5. It was going to be called the Mullen Commission. So when the guy calls me up and says, we're doing a special about the Mullen Commission. I'll tell a quick story about that. I go, yeah. What do you want? What do you want? It's all out there. It's on public record.
Right.
Well, we'd like to know if you want to participate. I said, not about the Mullen Commission. I said, they can go fuck themselves. Oh, well, we're going to do it with you, without you. I said, if you want to do something, come to Long Island. I'll tell you, meet me here, whatever, and I'll tell you the story. So the guy comes out, and Tiller, nice kid, he comes out, he passes the stop, he ends up in Patchogue. So now I got to go out to Patchogue to pick him up, which was perfect because now I got him as a captive audience in my car. And, as a cop, we drive and talk.
Sure.
Right? And, I'm driving around the fucking neighborhood and I'm telling him stories. And he stops and he says, I said, I won't participate in your Mullen Commission story. I said, but what I will do is you can do the story about the guys from the 7-5 if they participate, or just me. I don't give a fuck. And but not going to be about the Mullen Commission. I said, otherwise, do it on your own. So I told him a few stories, and he gets on the phone, and he calls this guy Eli Holtzman. I don't know who Eli is at the time.
Sounds like the producer.
Producer. He's produced everything in the world. By the way. He's the guy who produces.
Lives in Boca in the winter.
The story where the guy puts the undercover boss.
Okay, yeah.
You familiar with Undercover
Yeah,
Boss?
yeah. Yep.
He's the producer of that. Anyway, so he's on the phone. He goes, Eli, we got a star. So I don't know what he means.
It's Hollywood moment.
I don't know what he's talking about. So I go, who's your star? He goes, you. I go, oh, we're gonna take. So he tells him, and forget everything.
Wow.
Now I didn't know I don't know nothing.
You're out of prison at this point?
Yeah, I'm in the car driving him around in Long Island. He goes, and forget everything. We're redoing it.
Oh, shit.
They're already in for $600,000. I don't know.
Like they had done shit already.
They did it already.
Wow.
They were just going to add me as a clip to the thing. So it was already done. Wow. And Kenny, that motherfucker, was already part of it. In fucking scumbag cocksucker.
That was your partner, right?
Scumbag, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm back off that right now. No longer a scumbag, but back then he was the scumbag.
Yeah. Okay. Snitches get stitches.
Yeah. He's just he's a tough guy too, But you think he'd fucking carry some weight here. But anyway, his wife passed, and unfortunately, and we've made amends 2 or 3 different times already since then. Okay. So we're okay. So sorry, Ken. I didn't really call you a scumbag, but you're a little wimp. Anyway,
but you are gay, Ken.
No. Actually, you saw him in person, you wouldn't say that either about him. He's a big guy, and he can handle himself. But fuck him anyway. Anyway, we're old now. We're old. We're in our 60s. We're fucking old. Forget it. So
I was thinking that just the other day. I'm like, I am not who I used to be.
Yeah, no, we're
10
not.
years ago.
You are not. Believe me, we're not. No, at 26, you and I would, we'd be rolling all day long.
Yeah, we would have tripled that amount of money if I was with you.
Yeah. Different story now. That's one of my sad things is I really should have went crazy. Really crazy. I had lots of money in my disposal, but
it's like, it's the age-old saying: is the squeeze worth the juice? Yes, then make it happen.
Yeah.
No, don't do it.
Right.
It's hard.
So where we go with the story, and he said, we got a star. I was like, where's the star? He goes, I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea what's going on except to tell him the story.
Right.
And so then they put the documentary together based around basically me, but the whole group of us were a significant part of it. And that cost another $1.2 million. So
did he realize though that the people, not even just this guy, but just in general, how rampant that was in the whole police department?
So did who realize it?
To any of the people, the journalists, any of these people, because
they do a lot of research. Okay, generally when they come to do a documentary about something, particularly NYPD,
sure,
there's a lot of research done.
You got to be careful.
They don't want to piss off the wrong people, and they want to make it so the way they set out to do the documentary when they included me was to leave you making your own mind up at the end rather than making me the complete villain. I said, if you just make them not hate me.
I feel like you got a lot of the brunt. If I could be
Well, no,
honest.
I did. No, but at the
think you
end,
took
but the end,
the
you saw a
majority of
little
it.
humanity come back in me.
Yeah.
And so it sort of let the public like say, what would you have done?
But yeah, I don't think people understand. Like, it's not even just the police; it's everything. I mean, especially right here where we live.
Yeah.
Everybody's making fucking deals.
Right.
Everybody is paying to play.
Yeah.
It's everybody.
Yes.
Regular Joe who goes to work and gets his fucking
Has no-
paycheck on
he-
Friday has no idea.
Yeah, he's
the
vanilla.
way the world is
he's
working.
vanilla as can be, and he's out of touch. He's like
Totally.
What's going on? What's going on?
100%.
Wake up! You know, people
100%.
don't know what's going on around them.
And everybody, and I agree. You said it before. Like, it's human nature. You open the door to Pandora's box, and you see, oh wait, I can take a little piece.
Yeah.
Well, I can take another little piece.
Oh, it never ends.
I think that how they tried to humanize you was when that cop got shot.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, yeah, he threw him in the back of the car and they rushed him over. And did he live? I don't remember.
No, he died. Yeah.
He did die. Okay. It's,
Robert Venable. Yeah.
You know, I think
Sorry,
they
Rob.
tried to humanize you that way, but I gotta be honest. That like from my point of view, it was a bash Michael Dowd party for a lot of it.
Well, I deserve most of it, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they could have been worse. Okay, they could have really gotten to like villainization of me rather than just tell the story.
This is the story of what happened.
Yeah.
And when they interview these other cops, they get stonewalled or no?
No, because I asked them to cooperate.
Okay, because typically speaking,
Yeah, they wouldn't speak, but they came to. Well, so what people don't know is Walter, the big guy, break your neck if your neck needs breaking.
Yeah.
He was arrested before me. Chicky, he was arrested before me. Barron, undercover. Who I don't.
I feel like those guys are the guys that get away with everything.
Yeah, but he wasn't a cop though. He was a local. I don't want to disparage him.
Informant?
He was the guy who ran the stereo business. So he would install stereos in these pumped up ghetto hood rat cars, and he put the
put the cocaine behind the fucking
don't put a hole in my porch. Remember, Diaz said, "Don't put no holes in my porch. I like black music. I like this kind of Adam D. What's the Adam? Brian Adams. I like Brian Adams, and I like I want to be able to play black music, but I don't want to listen to black music." That's what Adam said. Adam said it. So yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. It was a journey, man.
So what's your wildest story? Like hands down.
I don't know. I mean, I've never been asked that question. See, this guy's brilliant. That's
No one
Of course,
told
you've
you.
been asked that question.
no one's ever asked
No?
me what's your wildest story.
Wildest story in your
Well-
opinion, not somebody else's. What was your holy shit? What am I doing? Like moment.
I can't say.
All right, tell me off the air.
I can't say that
Well,
one.
how about this? How about like after the documentary came out? What happened then?
I lost my job.
Job as a cop.
No,
No.
I was already in jail.
Yeah, Doc, he's out of jail.
No,
at that
I lost
point.
my job working for North Shore Hospital, Northwell.
What were you doing for them?
Mechanical services in the hospital in the rehab center.
But
in
did
South Oaks.
did opportunities come?
Yes. They still own me. Right now it's Prime owns me. Prime and
Amazon, yeah.
Amazon?
Prime
$3.99.
owns me right now.
For what?
I just checked.
They own me to do a movie.
Okay.
They own my life rights to do a movie, but
Was it a good deal?
it's never a good deal.
It's never.
It's never enough.
Never signed the first contract.
I signed too many contracts. First one was a disaster. It cost me $5 million the first contract I signed, which I got like 20,000, whatever it was. I don't even know what I got. 15,000. Whatever. Just hold. Well, it's a retainer. It wasn't my.
Right.
Yeah, it's a retainer. You get no money until the movie's
Yeah.
made, but they give you retainers.
Are they going to make the movie?
Yes, Ben Stiller, but he's too fucking busy.
Ben, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
We want to see the movie.
Yeah, get off it. I'm getting old. Now I can play the guys who.
But they're just gonna
the
have
boss-
you-
the chief. I can play the chief now. I'm
Yeah,
so
exactly. One of the white shirts.
old. Yeah.
So they would have somebody else play you. And you
Who?
probably
Who would play you?
reference.
Who would you want to play you?
Interesting.
Well, Mark Wahlberg asked to play me,
Oh, there you go.
and then he's too old now.
I think he's too
He's
old.
too old
yeah.
now, but that was
I don't
10
even
years,
know.
10
any
years
of them.
ago. 10 years ago, Mark Wahlberg invited Eli Holtzman to his mansion in L.A.
Tom Hardy.
The big Tom Hardy's.
Tom Hardy could
Tom
play
Hardy,
you.
but he's a little too old
He's
now.
a little too old too.
A little too old now.
You can think 82. How old?
Tom
were you in
Hardy
82?
was actually
Yeah.
was one of the ones that they wanted to play me. I don't know. Whoever the hottest young guy is now has to be the guy.
Yeah, I'm not available. Sorry, dude.
Well, my
Yeah,
point
but
is
there's not a lot of fucking like real manly
that's
men around.
okay. So let me explain. That's the problem.
Like who they're gonna get? Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah,
Get
that's
the
what I
fuck
was
outta
thinking.
here.
Like, none of those guys.
Yeah,
No chance.
You gotta
Need
have
some
a man.
masculinity.
It
Yeah,
has to be a man.
and a guy, a New
600.
York guy.
Yeah, but basically a New York guy. But yeah, it has to be. So what's his name?
You're gonna wind up
Austin
making you look
Butler?
like you're
Austin-
fucking
I think
Dominican.
Austin Butler
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
he's so Austin. I hate to do this to you, but you fucked up. You know, he was supposed to do it, and he backed out.
Really?
Interesting.
You know, why would he back out? I don't know. Maybe he didn't think he could pull it off.
I don't know.
What do you think the actor's opinion is? Like, so you're there more or less as a reference, right? Like, this is how this happened. This is
Yeah, well,
this is how
so-
this goes.
You'd be like Jordan Belfort for
you want to
fucking,
be in character a little bit, right? So you have to know my body language and my my mannerisms. You have to get a little bit familiar with that stuff, I think, to play me authentically. You know.
Do you have an agent?
you say Asian?
Do you have an agent?
I have a team of people that I work with. I don't have a specific agent for that. No. For
It would be a great movie.
we don't debate this. They own me. They own the fucking rights to do it. So I don't.
And there's no, you can't get that back. Yeah, you can. Who you gonna fucking? We gonna fight Amazon? Yeah, right.
we're working on it.
Yeah,
Not fighting Amazon. No.
we're going potentially making a deal that would be favorable. Got it.
Yeah.
In the nicest way possible.
so let me ask you a question. This is going to take a little bit of a left-hand turn here, but what's your childhood like growing up?
Wonderful. I had a great childhood. My father was a fireman. I had 5 brothers and a sister. It was amazing. We played sports every fucking day.
Grandparents in your life, the whole nine?
Grandparents, everybody. Everything was. We had a really nice childhood.
Was your mother alive when all this
My
happened?
mother's still alive today.
Oh, nice.
She just came home from surgery, but yeah, she's alive today and kicking. Dad too.
How did they handle the whole
Oh, very happy. I mean,
trial?
they stood on their car and cheered.
This is a story of human nature.
Yeah.
This is not a story of like fucking childhood trauma makes you fucking do these. I mean, you know,
Well, I mean, you don't know.
everybody's got a little bit. I mean, who am I to say how you
Did
grew
my
up?
mom give me enough love? No, and she knows it. She still says she's sorry.
But
for
still,
it.
you
It's just
walk-
opportunity.
You walk into a scenario where you have to grapple with the fact that the system that you thought you were participating in was full of shit.
Right.
And then now you see
it, yeah.
the opportunity
Right.
to do good for you, and the people that would theoretically be the ones to say no, they're like, hey, there's no fucking big deal.
Just don't get us in trouble.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking bro. That's an experiment
This
human
is
nature.
what it was like, though. It's like putting your finger in the dike, and if you leave, that fucking it's
somebody
gone.
else.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what it was like every day.
Let's go with
Which way is this going?
Not the
Not that
the
dike.
wall,
Yeah.
holding the water back.
Gotcha.
And if you pull your finger out, it's over. And that's how the onslaught of criminal activity was. You guys have no clue.
I'm sure.
You have no clue.
I'm sure.
Everything was a crime, a violent act. It was nonstop.
It
sure it was
snowballs.
insane.
It snowballs.
But
too.
you had a talent though. You had a talent of fucking
Yes, I
patching
did.
those holes.
I was pretty good at it.
So are the rumors true that you guys got caught because you didn't pick your paychecks up?
That's not true, but it is true. It's
a good
true. I
story.
didn't pick my paychecks up, but that's not how he got caught.
That's the guy who you met coming in. His father was
paycheck?
yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's how he got in trouble.
He got in trouble?
No, his father.
His father got in trouble
His
too.
father.
Oh, no, pick his paychecks up?
Yeah, because they weren't picking up the paycheck. He had a Rolls Royce and the whole fucking thing.
They're making so
And
much
then he went
money.
into the pallet business.
He did better.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what happens is
It makes a story.
you
good.
become apathetic. You don't really give a fuck.
But how
And
could
there
you?
came a point where I was hoping they would arrest me.
Yeah.
People say you put the red Corvette in the lieutenant spot, right? Because I was tired already. I was like tired of running.
Yeah, it's like you want to get caught.
Catch me.
Subliminally, you want to get caught.
So no, really, catch me or shut the fuck up. Because the rumors were swirling.
But why not just like if that's how you genuinely feel? Why not just stop?
Give up. That's
It's
different.
hard. It's really, really difficult to stop. I tried a couple times. You know, it's like using a drug. You go cold turkey. You need help. You need
Right.
support.
I can understand, like,
and
you
now I got
stop and then-
bills. Now I got bills.
And who are you going to talk to about it?
Yeah.
Who are you going to talk to
I'll
about
tell you a funny
Kenny.
story. I never told this story. You guys are going to get an exclusive on this one. I should play all these things back because for the other book that I'm writing. Anyway, I'm in a rehab. I'm in a fucking psych rehab center, not in the center, but in speaking to a counselor, and she was in Bayshore. I could almost see the building right now. Anyway, I'd go in the building and see this counselor in there because I was in the farm. I think I was in the farm. I don't remember. I was in something, and outpatient stuff. And
For drugs?
you're not allowed alcohol.
Okay.
So, yes. Anyway, and I was seeing this woman and talking to her, and she says to me one day, she goes, "I'm a writer for the New York Times."
Oh, and she's your therapist?
And she's my therapist.
Oh, I don't see a problem there at all.
And she goes, "I need $50,000 for cancer treatment."
Everybody's on the take.
And I go, "Yeah, what about it?" She goes, "If I told your story to the New York Times," she said, "I could get that money." She's like an independent journalist or something for the New York Times. I went, Jesus Christ. I mean, now I'm
everywhere.
like, I got to be careful. Like,
Yeah.
I'm talking to a therapist and she's telling me, she said, "Your story is incredible." I went, "Really? What about it?" She goes, I could pay off my debts. I could, this is freaking writer for
So
the New
what'd you
York
do?
Times.
Did you say, what's my take?
Yeah. Can you change my name, please? But I mean, so these things are real. You know what it is? You're so
everywhere.
young. You're so young and dumb. I mean, 25, 24, 23, 26.
You're
What the
really a
hell did
child
you
at
know?
that age.
What the hell did you know at 23?
I still don't fucking know anything.
You're still learning, right? I mean, well, we all learn. I'm still learning stuff every day. But the point is, 23, 24 years old, you're making life-changing decisions every day. And, we give people that power, we swear them in, But really, you have no kids. You have no life experience, I was a bay clammer. That was like my last job. I was an independent guy on a boat clamming in the bay. It's in Great South Bay. And went from there, college a little bit, Suffolk. And then I went to CW Post to be an accountant. And in the middle of that whole process, they were calling me for the police. I said, I want to get laid. So, it'd be great if I can get a job that gets me married so I can continue to get laid. So, I mean, who doesn't make a decision based on their dick?
By the way, that math
basically,
does not
every
work
poor
out.
decision,
I'm getting divorced.
every
Fucking
poor decision,
all
like I
Jan-
just said.
I mean, it wasn't a criminal enterprise, but I could relate being caught up and not being able to stop.
Yeah. I mean, I got caught on camera.
Are you,
Is that how they got
are
you?
you still married?
I got caught on camera.
How did they actually
And it was in the 2015
Oh, wow.
in the goddamn plant.
So not married now.
No.
No, it's not easy.
How did they get you back in the day, though?
It's tough. You know what? Just can't you just get laid?
I don't know.
No, I don't mean you. I'm just saying, like, can you just give
I
it
can,
up?
but
Just I mean,
it's hard. It's hard.
it is. It's hard maintaining relationships.
It's hard maintaining a lot of things.
Loved you.
It's hard maintaining relationships.
It
You know
is.
what it is? Because today with social media, it's out of control.
Yeah.
It really is. It's
What was that time
this
hop
phone
like?
will fucking
Destroy it.
kill you.
What was that time hop?
100%.
You went.
I'm
year did you
seeing that
go
now
in?
for the first time. Fucking, I was married for 18 years.
Worse than any of the shit you were putting in your pockets back
This
in
is
the
the
day.
worst thing. In the
Never ever even thought
It
about
can
it.
get you places you've never
Like,
been.
what year did you go in? What year did you go into prison?
1992.
You came out, and that time hop is
Everything changed.
Incredible.
The
I
world was
would
different.
imagine.
That's why you
92
wanted to go back in so bad.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do. 2004, 92, everything changed. The only thing they had was a
That
brick.
was like prime
They had a
back
brick.
page.
They had a brick phone when I went in, and I came out, and everybody's. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
I feel like there's an alternative movie that starts off quickly with the 7-5 story and then picks off now. After you got out.
It was more exciting. I don't want to say it because I'll get in trouble, but the shit that happened to me since I came home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed by some of it because it's foolishness. Because, you think at 40-something years old you'd learn. We listen, we make mistakes throughout life,
Yeah.
And it's how many times we get back up. I really, really.
I agree.
I mean, you can get knocked down.
Yeah, as long as you're not making the same mistake.
Yeah,
every
you
time.
make different ones.
Yeah.
It's just
But I think you keep making the same mistake too. I think the
it's all based around the penis.
Insanity.
Yeah.
It's all based around the penis.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Really is.
Because I don't need any money. I need money to get laid. I don't need a new car. I don't have one.
I feel like we understand each other a lot, Mike. I really do.
One day you guys are gonna walk into the same holding cell.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Look. My whole life I've been chasing something to get laid with, and I should have just fucked myself. I mean, I just be.
Well, you did. You did.
I was gonna say.
I hate to break it to you, dude.
Don't tell everybody that. Don't tell everybody that. Wow. I'm 64. I'm done fucking myself. Wow. Maybe. Well, maybe one last time.
Well, you know what? You seem like you're humble. You seem like after all this, you don't seem like one of those guys that's like, yeah, I've done everything, I've seen everything, and I know everything.
I do,
You know what
but
I mean?
I don't say it.
Yeah.
Well, no, really, no.
You learned that.
I listen. To full disclosure, I have a heart today that I didn't have back then.
Yeah.
You get soft with age, Joe. Naturally,
Well,
Joe.
you do, but more importantly, I've seen both sides of life, all 10 sides of how many sides of life there is, and I have a heart for people that are being taken advantage of. See, I'm very outspoken, but against bullies, and I maybe I was bullied a little bit, but not much, But little things affect you, and. I just think, I mean, if you get it, you arrest a president fucking 5 times. I mean,
It's kind of weird.
what are you doing? That disgusts me. Things like that disgust me. If you don't like the guy, vote him out. Don't keep locking a guy up. Because you can, let me tell you something. Every one of you motherfuckers in here can get locked up for something right now. I'm just letting you know.
It's happened.
You can and will if they want.
Right.
I don't give a shit who you are and how good you go to church, they'll lock you up for something. I'm telling you right now, they can. Because there's 18,000 or 23,000 laws on the book. You can't know them all.
Right.
All right. Are you responsible? Act like a responsible human being? Yes. But everybody fucks up somewhere. And if they want you, they will find you. Did you sign that paper?
It's a game.
Did you sign that paper the right way? Look at Letitia James.
That woman belongs in prison too.
Yeah, but but my point is everybody does something.
But it's a game, and I can totally understand how, like, when you went in during that time, the veil being lifted, being like, this is not what I thought it is. And I think that's what everybody's going through now with this fucking thing. Like, fucking, you have a generation of people that had 3 news channels, and they got the information from 3 different places, and that was it.
This is Walter Cronkite.
Exactly. And now it's like the
Ted
lid,
Koppel.
the lid is off.
Yeah.
And people's minds are just blown up because it's like everything that I thought that I knew is a lie. What's real? What's not real? Everybody's playing a game.
Kennedy was killed by Oswald.
Yeah, okay.
Not.
Yeah.
These are the things that. Listen, I'm 64 today.
Happy
Not
birthday.
no.
Oh shit.
64, standing, January. But anyway, and I'm disillusioned for 63 and a half years of my life.
Yeah.
I've been lied to. And that pisses me off because there's nothing worse than being lied to. You can cheat, you can steal, you can rob, but when you lie to
Yeah, but
me,
at 63 years old, Mike, how much of that are you to blame for it, though? If you think about it, right?
for my own actions?
Yeah, but allowing people to lie to you like that for that
No,
long.
but I think all of
No,
it.
I'm talking about society.
Yeah.
Our country has lied to us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the things that but you see, it's not.
There's nothing you can do about it. though.
No, that's the mistake we all make. There is something we can do about it. We can make it clear that lying about these things is not appropriate, and there's got to be a consequence somewhere. Because if you don't pay the price, you'll continue to do it. And I paid the price for my crimes, and I'm happy that I did, because that frees me. That allows me to move forward. These motherfuckers that have been lying to us for 60-something years when Kennedy got shot, and so on and so forth.
It's probably even before that, too.
Absolutely. Bay of Pigs, all these other things that went on that you guys don't even know about. They've been lying to us, and that pisses me to fuck off more than anything, because it's not right that you can do it and I can't.
Yeah.
That's the point. I don't care if you lie to me, but if I lie to you, I'm going away.
Yeah, yeah.
If I don't play by your rules, I'm going away.
Yeah.
But you break your own rules,
Yeah.
I don't go for it.
Yeah.
That must be fucking.
You can break your rules.
That must be impossible.
You can break your rules, but then so can I.
Yeah, I'm a
was gonna
scumbag
say.
because fucking.
Yeah, I'm
I
on the
did
front
this.
page of fucking newspaper, dirtiest cop in American history because I took some money from drug dealers.
Yeah.
I snorted a few lines off from stripper's ass. Come on, what the fuck? Meanwhile, these motherfuckers are selling out fucking nuclear energy.
Kennedy was probably blowing lines off Marilyn's ass.
I would hope so. I let them blow something off her ass too.
No, you're right. That must be impossible for you, who paid the consequence of
It's
what
the
you
worst
did.
feeling in the world.
But
when
then you
that's
see
why
these
I
other
get
people.
All the I don't like injustice. Now, if you, this is what I say, Hillary Clinton, you're one of the smartest criminals in the world, but it's not fair.
No, because she got caught.
It's not fair.
And didn't
'Cause
get
you
to
got
pay for it.
caught.
Yeah.
I appreciate your criminal act as a criminal, but as a human being and as American of the society, you don't pay. It's not fair. It's not fair because we know you did it,
And then you have people that look up to those people.
Well, you know what I think.
Disgusting.
It's just a repetition.
and they can look up to them if they paid and cleaned their slate.
But you know what I think is.
That's what people want in America.
What-
I want you to come clean.
Yeah, but I think the thing about America, and this is, I mean, who the fuck am I? What do I know? But I think that, like, when you look at the other countries, like Europe, for example, like, they're old. They're thousands of years old. They've been doing what they've been doing
Yeah,
for a long
right.
time.
We're-
And now we got us, right? And we've built ourselves on the brand of we're the good guys.
Yes.
We're the best in the world.
Yes.
But, like, you go somewhere else. Like, you remember the Italian president, Silvio Berlusconi? Remember him?
Yes. Yeah, I love him.
This guy had fucking
I love
30
him.
fucking
I love him.
women parties. This guy was a fucking gangster,
Yeah, I
right?
love him.
But they knew who he was,
Right.
and they understood that, like, you know, whether
That's
he was
who
a
he
good
is.
guy or a bad guy, there was this understanding of, like, these people that have absolute power. They're not the good guys. They're not comic book heroes.
Right.
But, like, we are under this foolish thought process that, like,
But-
every 4 years we're going to elect Captain America.
Yeah, but I think
And it's
that's
just
how a
not
lot of
real.
people view Trump as that
But
guy
there's
you
no
just
such
referenced.
thing. There is no Captain America. I'm not saying Trump is good or he's bad. I'm not. I've never been a political.
Well, that's
person.
how we pulled
I've
the
never.
wool-
But we, like fucking idiots, just the
Yeah.
same way we argue over who's the better football team, the Jets or the Giants. It's
clearly
the
the
same
Giants.
thing.
They both
It's
suck.
just. But the reality is the whole thing is a game. The whole thing is a game, and everybody's playing, and everybody's playing, and you know.
Yeah,
said they
I
both
don't like. Listen, they both suck. By
They
game
do.
game two, I'm done. And I start off the year. We're gonna go. Who? Which one? I
Well,
don't
that's
care.
just like
Daniel
Buffalo.
Jones is gonna throw
I'm gonna be a
fucking 50
Buffalo
touchdowns.
fan from now on. I mean, because they're always close.
Well, that's just like the elections. A new guy gets in, everybody's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get change."
yeah.
and then a year in, you
change.
still
Who
have
wants
it.
it? I don't want change.
You
I
still
just
have a shitty
I just
job.
want safe and normal.
That's it.
But I think that's a real regular human thing to say.
Safe and normal.
Safe and normal, the
Yeah.
ability to work.
Yeah.
Go make your
my
shit
own
happen.
way. Yeah.
I mean,
Allow me
listen.
the space to do it.
What is safe and normal nowadays, though?
Yeah, but that's where you. But that's like lawyers and fucking accountants, and that's what they do. They argue the fucking, you know, where the average Joe who has no idea about any of this shit is not going to get into the fucking the tiny details of like what's safe. I mean, generally we all know what safe and normal is. We all do.
What
Generally,
does Tyson say? The game plan changes when you get punched in the face. Right? Everybody has a plan until they hit you in the face.
Yep.
That's
How
life.
did you handle your regular domestics in comparison to the other stuff? Now you put on 2 masks. You go in.
So-
Guy beats his wife up.
Oh yeah. No, I just separate and diffuse. I'm a diffuser. I don't look to lock people up. But back then you had discretion. I could put my memo book. You guys gonna stop fighting with each other? Yeah. Okay. I can divorce you if you want me to divorce you. I'll divorce you. Whatever you need. But then I make him sign my memo book. I don't want my husband arrested.
Right.
So I sign here, and it's over. Today you get locked up for sneezing on your wife. Oh, take him away.
Yeah,
She's
even
scared.
if you're suspected of hitting.
She's scared. No. He raised his voice and he's scaring me. Well, we gotta take you in.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's fucked up. It's fucked
I
up.
didn't know that was on the table. I could get a quick vacation.
Well, you know what?
Start
You
yelling
can
at
make the
bitches.
most of it.
Start yelling. Yeah.
Make the most of
Meet
it.
a few enterprising young gentlemen in that place.
You don't need to meet them in there. They're out there.
Wild.
No, but you
What was
you
prison?
slim down.
What was prison like? You were
Fun.
a cop,
It was great.
so like
It was glorious.
on the outside though.
Really?
On the outside, like your cop goes to jail. It's like
It's not easy.
That's it, yeah.
You know,
It's gotta be
Every
tough.
day was a mind fuck. Not because I was in prison, because I didn't know who was going to be the guy.
right.
Always looking
Because
over
I
your
was the one.
shoulder.
If you wanted to hate someone in the prison, there was a cop on the compound.
Yeah, not only was he a cop, but he robbed us too.
Yeah, no, that didn't bother them as much. What bothered them was that I was a cop. But when they thought it through, which most guys have time, he was fucking really basically working with us. I was letting him go.
He's one of us guys.
I was letting him go. You know, what did I do? You know, I didn't lock you up. So it wasn't as bad as it could have been. You know, there were guys like Rampart guys, the guys from L.A. They had a whole group of guys that went to prison. Every department did, but they were basically torturing and like killing drug dealers and shit and kidnapping them. They were doing crazy shit. One of the guys got really bad.
What's that guy from the Marvel Comics? The Punisher.
The Punisher. Yeah. Well, this guy got fucked. They fucked him up in prison a bit. But you know, I realized like my world exists with all these people now. Like my best friends are like wise guys. Because in the end, we all the same.
You understood each other.
Yeah.
In the end, we're all the same.
Any of those guys left though? The old wise guys, like.
Well, the old ones are dead.
Right, but like
Some of the guys, they're friends with me. You know, all the guys that
They're all doing the social media thing.
they all
on social
seem.
media, they're all
Yeah,
friends
that's
of
what it
mine.
seems like.
They're all friends with me.
So what are you doing now?
This. I do this for gum. No, I right now I'm doing some work for somebody. You know,
Okay.
I'm helping them for free. I don't get paid. You know,
Same.
12 hours a day. Yeah.
You have your own show right now?
I have a show called, just change the name of it. I was telling you when we started this thing, I just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is not easy to get, by the
No,
way.
it's
No.
very fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, I was
Harder every day.
I would think, you know why? Because you got a monopoly now. You got Rogan and a few others,
Yeah.
and that's all people are fucking tuning into, you know?
Right time, right place.
Yeah. The timing is everything. So I've been
Yeah, I think you asked him. He'd be.
I've been
saying-
fighting uphill to get, and if I hit 1,000 subscribers, and we had a falling out.
Did you get to keep the
The,
page?
the good cop went bad. So we had I had a show called Good Cop, Bad Cop. Okay, and the fellow was from Philly.
It's a great fucking name for that.
Yeah, Good
It
Cop,
really
Bad
is.
Cop. And,
Can you keep the page, the account, or no?
He stole it. Yeah, because I don't really do with back end stuff.
Yeah.
Then he's like, you know, what am I gonna do? You know, I don't want to start a war over this.
So now you're starting.
So I started another one fresh. Yeah,
Are you doing it by yourself?
No, I'm doing it with another guy from Nassau County, retired guy from Nassau.
Where do you do it?
We do it in New Jersey because that's where we're set up. I mean, I could get a studio like this somewhere, but because we have to commute to Jersey to do it. But we'll spend the night over and we'll do. We have a nice setup. Someone over there is paying for us to take, so we don't have to lay any money out. You know, it's expensive to run these fucking shows.
sure,
You know,
yeah.
Who's the guy from Nassau?
Mike Palazzo. Yeah, he was a Nassau County Highway.
I know who he is.
You know who he is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my best friend's in Highway.
Yeah, Mike. He was the #1 weightlifter like in America. Like he was like competitive bodybuilder.
You're good at this. Like you should be doing this.
This is
Yeah.
You know, Joe Rogan told me I should get my own show back then, and to be
listen.
honest with you, I just wasn't financially in a position to do so.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it half-assed. You know, I wanted to do it the right way. So I couldn't do it financially, and then you get busy, and I was getting invited on so many shows that they take care of me at the shows, you know. So I really didn't have the urgency to carry the expense of running a show, and then doing the shows, and the work it takes to put a show together, and
It's a lot.
if you have to cut and clean and post and do the social media stuff, you know, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, too much.
It's a lot of work.
We talk about this all the time. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, you think you just talk for a couple of hours and people would come. But now, like, the social media thing is a whole nother part of
Mike,
it.
that's how they got me. These
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, you know, you'd be great. You come in, you talk, and now it's like we have to like concentrate
The
on,
nuts
like,
and bolts
Who's gonna do it? It's not
behind
that
it.
easy.
Yeah.
Not that it's a job, but like
No, it's a lot. It's a lot of effort, and then you have to have TikTok now. You have to have all these 30-second splashes, and
I have no patience for it. He takes care of everything.
And they're not the same person. You know, the person that's going to listen to us talk for an hour and a half, but the person who's going to see the clip of the most sensational thing you said today,
correct.
those are two different people.
correct.
You know?
Yes.
So it's
it is, and that's all they want to see.
Yeah.
They don't want to tune in.
But do you want to do this whole thing or no?
Well, I'm doing it. There's, you know, there's reasons for things. You know, if you're not getting anything out of this, then don't do it. But if you have a goal then do
Well,
it.
guys, I gotta go.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so the goal for me is to rebuild. This is the third time now rebuilding something. It's now organized. We went instead of organized crime, it's organized minds. It's run by New Solutions Network, she's a startup herself, but she's financing it, which is good. And she's the woman that's behind it is a behavioral scientist. Is that
Therapist?
no, behavioral scientist. I think.
I guess
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The same.
Yeah. And she actually, I'm going to say this, I don't give a fuck. She actually was the one who got the nation hooked on Ozempic.
Interesting.
Really?
Yes.
And this is
She's got some dough.
So she's good.
Is this a partner of yours?
We're working together.
Okay.
Yeah.
You send me your information. We gotta reach out to her.
Yeah. She's a good. You know what? She comes from a world so separate from us. You know.
But they're just fucking criminals with more money.
She'd tell you the same thing. Okay. and she.
When you start out in Brentwood, there's a certain fucking path.
You gotta have
When
something.
you start out in Manhasset and Great Neck
Well, there you go.
or Beverly Hills,
Right,
it's a
right.
different
Right.
road.
Yeah, they
You're
already
proud
did
that
that.
you're
They already
right.
did the
Yeah,
Brentwood.
the
They
grandfather,
did the Brentwood,
yeah.
and they moved to fucking
Exactly.
Great Neck on the water. Yeah, with the Romanelli.
So
You know the Romanellis?
I've heard.
Yeah.
You're a product of
They're
your
on Great Neck
geography.
on the water. Yeah. They ran
It's all the same shit, man. Greed is, there's no fucking
So
zip code.
yeah, you're right. So it's just but she's actually this woman. To her credit, she's embarrassed by it.
Okay.
She's embarrassed by the whole machine, and I think, in some ways, she's looking to take it down because she's disgusted with them. You know, I mean, you think about this shot we all got. It's killing people still, every day.
3 people on Long Island went blind from it.
What are we talking about?
Ozempic.
No,
I know
no,
you're talking about the other thing.
No, I'm talking about the vaccine, but she said Ozempic's really.
I held out,
Not-
man. I didn't
not-
get it.
not
I didn't get it.
recommended.
I didn't get the fucking shot. I said, fuck that shit.
Well, but you think
Wish I
about it. Like
didn't.
you see the meme on TikTok all the time. It's like all these people who are like, vaccine, you just came up with that, don't give me that, but they're sticking Ozempic in their leg.
Yeah,
That's been around for the same amount of fucking time.
Yeah.
You know?
Less.
Less.
People are seeing.
It was not
results
even
with
FDA
Ozempic.
cleared
That's-
yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
People are seeing favorable results. You don't see any favorable results with
I
the
just
vaccine.
felt the whole way that thing shook out. Something in my bones said to me that, no,
Well, you're
I
Italian.
can't do it.
You're Italian, right?
I'm Italian and Puerto Rican.
Yeah. Yeah, most Italians don't trust anybody anyway. So
It just didn't feel right. It just didn't feel. And then when everybody started like shaming each other and being like, "You're a
Shot
bad
shaming.
person if you don't do it," and you're being, the whole thing to me just felt wrong. And I said, "I'm not
disgusting.
fucking doing
It's
it."
disgusting what
Not
they
doing
did to
it.
people.
And we started making fake cards on Photoshop.
I had to, yeah. I had to get the goddamn shots because I was traveling.
Yeah.
I
Same.
was traveling so much.
Yeah.
Had to go to like my cousin's wedding, best friend my whole life,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah.
I can't go to this guy's wedding if I
Yeah.
don't get. I'm like, fuck it, just give it to me.
Yeah,
You know?
stick me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you don't know what you did to yourself.
I was 185 pounds before
Yeah, look
that.
at you. The wedding put it up. You ate a lot at that wedding, didn't you? Yeah. So, but yeah. So it's been an interesting ride. Right now we're doing the Organized Minds. We're doing a podcast. It comes out every Wednesday.
Awesome.
It's just in the infancy stage again, which is unfortunate because it was a great show. Good Cop, Bad Cop. The guy was good. We had a great chemistry. Just back end, he was a little.
Yeah.
I don't want to disparage somebody unjustifiably, but he handles finances poorly. Let's put it that
Okay.
way. And
Catholic,
I don't,
huh?
And I don't
fucking
fucking.
flies
One
at
thing I don't do
drive
is
me
fuck
crazy.
around with someone's money. Never
Yeah.
in my life. I mean, I took money, but I don't fuck with people's legitimately with their money
Yeah.
because it's not the way. I don't want to go to bed at night owing anybody any money or I could down the list who owes me right now. All right, and I have, but every night I got to sleep with that on my head that this one dies. Who's going to tell him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Well, you send
Sometimes
them-
I text my son at night if I don't wake up tomorrow.
This
There's a
is
list.
who it is.
This is a list.
Got to get it out of your head.
Relationship is good with your son today?
I have 2 boys. We have good relationships. One of them is a little rough right now, but we've had our ups and downs. The younger one, believe it or not, and the older one, he's out in Orange County, California. Two grandkids with him, and the other one's on Long Island. 2 grandkids with him. We don't see each other enough. There's some issues. You grow up without a dad.
Yeah.
Then you don't need your dad. Then you need him. then you don't need them. So
Yeah,
you know, and it's all good. You know, Christmas will come around again.
The older they get, the more they'll realize people make mistakes, you know, and then you fucking.
Yeah, well, we've gone past that point with that. It's just current issues that we're dealing with, whether it's some addiction or it's financial issues. You know, that money in me, I don't play with your money. So that's why I draw lines. Remember that.
I like it.
He's talking to you.
I like it.
You know why? Because that's the like, you lose friends over it.
Sure.
And it's just not the way to live. You know, it's just why do that? You know.
I agree.
I don't play that game with people's money.
I don't ask anybody for shit.
Yeah.
People ask me, I go, no problem.
Yeah.
I do it for you.
Yeah, I do it too.
But I will not ask people for anything.
I do basically handle my own business because in prison you learn no. One thing you learn in prison, you learn what the word no means.
Yeah, I have not mastered that.
Yeah. You gotta. Yeah. Well, I personally, I mean, I can, but I know where. So I take those risks where I feel it's not a risk, even though they all are, by the way.
Right.
Whenever you hand $1 out, and this is one of the things one of the lessons I'll give people that want to listen to anything.
So we're here.
It's not the $1 that I gave you; it's what it took to get that $1. Right? 64 years of mistakes.
Right.
Let me hand you this $1 right now.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not talking about $8, but whatever it happens.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You know,
the
it's
sentiment
64
behind
years
it.
of life's lessons and knock down and get back up. And, you know, for me, that's really, I just think people should have more love for each other. You know, I'm a lover, not a fighter. You know, back in the day, I could have done both. But really today, I'd rather just give love. I lead everything with love. It's up to you on what you want to do with it, you know. You said I'm humble. I am. I'm humble. You know,
I can tell.
You can feel it.
I
Yeah.
think that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm a humble guy. I come from a great family. We're the family on the block that you called up. Every family would call my house for something. And my dad was that guy, you know. You needed your pool put up this weekend? My dad brought 6 kids over. You had a pool up by the end of the day. You know, this is how we rolled.
Old school.
Old school. Fireman's family, you know. They had that congenial, you know, that whole rah-rah thing going, like, we can do for each other. If you needed a deck put up, the whole fire department come put your deck up. You know what I mean? That's what they did for each other. That's what I learned, and that's how I try to live. That's why I got like 10 cops involved with shaking down people. Come on, we can do this together. Come on, guys, let's do this
We're
together.
a team.
Yeah, let's do. No one can take us down. I mean, it's just. You know, the funny thing, I laugh about some of these things because first of all, it's horrific what I did. Let's be honest, right? What I did was disgusting, but it's human nature in a lot of ways. We look for the shortcut.
Yeah.
You know, Mom said, go back to school. You know, my mother, you know, my mother was raised with nuns. She was in the home. That's so when I go home, I'm dealing with a nun, okay? You know, my father, he was raised.
I got the same problem in my house. None today, none tomorrow.
None. So, but yeah. So anyway, life's lessons, you know, along the way. It's a journey. Enjoy the ride because you might not get to the destination. Right?
Yeah.
No, I hope the podcast thing works out for you. I mean, you seem like you got a lot. You got a life's worth of lessons to.
I actually enjoy being on, but it's exhausting.
Sure.
Like this being here right now, I mean, I'm okay. I'm jacked up a little bit. I'm excited, but when I'm done with this, I have a bad neck. I'll be crying tonight. Take one of those fucking little white ones. What are they called? Meloxicams or something like that. You know, just because my neck will be all jammed up from sitting here and talking. Because I get into it. You know.
Yeah.
And but I enjoy it, and I enjoy meeting you guys today.
Yeah, appreciate you coming out.
Likewise, man. Really appreciate you coming. This was awesome.
Yeah.
This was awesome.
Well, I hope it's your #1 show.
I hope so too.